People called me a late bloomer, but I felt more like a dead plant. The others in my class were all on their way to becoming adults, and the difference between them and me became clearer every day. The girls were moving beyond training bras to, I don't know, professional bras? Guys were getting taller, their voices were getting deeper, and hair was starting to show up in new parts of their body, among other things. Somehow, time came to a standstill when it came to my body. For a 14-year-old boy, I only had two things going for me. One, I had major big-time wrestler hair. All my heroes had a big mane that flew everywhere as they beat down on their opponent. I hoped mine would at least make people think twice before messing with me. The other thing was my cousin Frank. He played linebacker on the football team, and he was someone to be feared on the field. He was getting attention from recruiters at several colleges and from rival coaches, who had to plan ways to stop him from sacking the quarterback. I made sure people knew we were related if they tried anything, and he showed up when I needed him to. He had done that more than once, so when he asked me for a favor, I didn't think I could refuse. "Jimmy, I need some help this weekend. Are you doing anything on Saturday?" "No," I replied. "What do you need?" "I have a new girlfriend named Linda. At least, I want her to be my girlfriend. I want to get her a present, but I am not good at it. Would you go with me to the mall to help me get something?" Here is where I admit that I am not much of a gift giver, nor do I know very much about girls and what they would want. Still, I can help Frank make less bad choices than he would on his own. We agreed that he would pick me up around 10 on Saturday morning, and we would make a day of it. Shopping early, lunch, arcade, and maybe a movie if we have time. I would make sure we had time, since there were a couple of movies I wanted to see. When Saturday morning arrived, I spent a little extra time in bed because I could. I rolled out of bed around 9, took a shower, grabbed a t-shirt and jeans, and was finishing a bowl of cornflakes when Frank arrived. We hit the mall shortly after 10, and the stores were relatively empty. Frank started walking down the halls and looking in the stores. He wouldn't tell me what kind of gift he was looking for, but said I should follow him if he went in. After seeing too many stores focusing on teen girls, he decided to step into Metro, a store with a club atmosphere. Loud music was pumping, and lights flashed along the ceiling in time with the music. The clothes seemed to be straight from a music video. Frank was looking at a rack of dresses that were somehow shiny and almost glowing, slowly feeling the fabric of each before moving to the next one. He eventually pulled a deep blue one from the rack, holding it up and turning it under the light to see the large number of sparkles in the material. He set that aside, then pulled out a second dress. This one was black with silver streaks running down the long sleeves and cutouts along the sleeves and upper chest. He asked my opinion as one of the clerks walked up to us. "Can I help you with anything?" She looked at Frank, but not necessarily at me. "I want to buy something for my girlfriend, but I am not sure which one of these is best." "No problem. Come on back and I'll open a fitting room." She grabbed the dresses and gave me a wave to follow her. I looked at Frank, who was caught up in the offer. If he wasn't going to say anything, I wasn't sure that I could. "Hey, you're about the same size as Linda. It really would help me choose one if I see it on somebody. I won't tell anyone if you do this. Did I mention that I owe this guy a few favors? Only you get to see, and we never speak of this." I was resolved to keep this a secret because I was just starting high school, and I did not want this to follow me for 4 years and beyond. The clerk, named Carly, opened the door and hung the dresses inside. I slowly followed her to the room, which seemed smaller and smaller as I approached it. She had a big smile, welcoming me to the room. "I'll be right here for you. Let me know if you need anything." The door closed, and I took a deep breath, letting it out slowly before opening my eyes and sliding my shirt off. I removed the blue dress from its hanger and unzipped the back. I pulled it over my head and slid my arms into the sleeves. The dress bunched up at my hips, but I thought this was the part that Frank wanted to see. I opened the door to see Frank and Carly standing together. "What is this?" Carly looked upset at the sight of me. "That will not look right with pants on underneath. Those need to go. Get in there and take off the shoes and pants so we can see this properly." I stepped back into fitting room, kicking off the shoes and reaching under the dress to unbutton and unzip the jeans. Once I stepped out of the pants, I opened the door again. The skirt seemed especially short, but I just wanted this over. Carly pulled the dress a few ways before zipping the back up and showing the dress to Frank. "Wait, we're missing something." The clerk disappeared for a moment before coming back with a pair of short black boots with a small heel. "The dress looks better with a heel. It's meant to be worn with those. All of our clothes are like that." Frank asked me to walk a little so he could see the dress. Then I was sent into the dressing room to try the other dress. I nearly missed having Carly unzip this one, but it was a last-second catch. I was able to pull it off, but the black dress was more complicated to put on, and after a few minutes of trying it myself, I was forced to call Carly in to help. She had to show me where my arms should and should not go. I thought I would pull a muscle while I contorted myself into the outfit, but I managed to get it on my body. There were bands and belts and straps and too much going on to navigate quickly. She pulled the zipper up there, looked me over and ruffled my hair up a little before sending me out to see Frank. His eyes got large as I came out, and he asked me to take a few steps through the store, turning a few times so he could see the dress. As I walked back to the changing room, I noticed that the room was empty. My pants, shirt and shoes were missing. Carly was at the register already with a bag that she handed to Frank. He slipped his wallet back into his pocket and took the bag from her, heading to the door. I followed him, walking quickly in the little boots and yelling the word "hey," as quiet as I could. I found myself out of the store and in the middle of the hallway before Frank finally stopped. I was not happy with him, but he did not stop until he was well past that clothing store. "Frank, why did that just happen?" I pointed at the outfit that was covering me. "I'm sorry." He did look sorry when he said it. That clerk misunderstood what was happening and she jumped to conclusions. She didn't ask about packing up your things. She just did that, took the tickets from the clothes and shoes you were wearing, and rang it up. I didn't know what to do, so I just paid to end this without embarrassing anyone. Except me. Look at me. This time, I went full Vanna White, showing my outfit like she would a puzzle board. I started this morning with pants, like a boy normally would. What changed? I am in an embarrassing situation. He apologized again and said he would make it up to me. We headed for the exit, but we had a lot of stores to pass to get to the car. I realized there was not anywhere I could go to change without looking odd. Why would a girl turn into a boy after a visit to the bathroom? I was stuck. I was not used to wearing any heels, and my feet were starting to feel every step. As we approached the food court, a pair of men were trying to get the attention of girls walking by. "Miss, can we help you with your hair?" I was not about the help, but I was about the comfy chairs that they had at their display. I sat down and waited for Frank to notice I wasn't with him. The man used some kind of hair iron to smooth my hair out and make it very shiny. He had a slight Eastern European accent, which really came out as he talked about this new hair device and the products he used to do this to my hair. I have to admit, I looked a lot more like a girl with this change, with some waves showing up down my back. The good news was, my feet felt better from the break, even if I moved further away from stud and closer to cute. I started to get up, and Frank came over to me to tell me how much better I looked. I saw him give the guy a nod as we walked away, but didn't think about it. The hair helps you blend in better. He was looking sympathetic when he said it. I have to say, the longer I am dressed like this, the more favours I am counting this as. I took a mental note that we were less than halfway to the car, and I was already over this whole day. Frank suggested getting something to eat, and he would pay for it. That would have to be the case since my money was in my pants, in a bag that I was not carrying. Normally I would crush a cheeseburger combo in the food court, but Frank said that wouldn't match the image I was throwing out there today. He brought 2 plates from one of the nicer stands in the court. I had 2 pieces of chicken and mashed potatoes on mine. I couldn't argue against it, and I dug into the plate. Frank was right. I was feeling better after getting something to eat, but I was still not having the day I was looking forward to. There would be no movie, no arcade, and sore feet would be prevalent. I started towards the escalator, but with the heels and sore feet, I was struggling to get onto the step accurately. Frank grabbed my arm and stepped on with me to help me get on. Could I feel more like a girl? I shouldn't ask that question today, because there seemed to be room to make things worse as time went on. Case in point, as we stepped off the escalator, Frank pointed to a store where he said they could help my feet feel better. The big chairs offered some kind of foot massage, and the big pools of water in front of the chairs made me think that would feel good. Not something I would normally choose, but today was not normal. The woman working there showed me to a chair and invited me to remove the boots and put my feet in the water. It was warm, and my red feet seemed happier in there. I laid back and let the water do its work. I was so stressed out and on edge that the massage of my feet was far too relaxing. I felt the woman pull my feet out of the water and file my toes. The lotion being rubbed in was the last thing I recall before Frank shook me awake. I blinked myself awake, thinking that meal was making me sleepy today like Thanksgiving. I pulled myself into a position sitting straight up and saw my toes. That I mean is, I couldn't miss my toes. The nails were now a bright silver like 10 disco balls that will light up my shoes all night. Luckily, I was distracted from that quickly. The bad news was, the distraction was my fingernails. The same polish was on each finger and thumb. I could see the effort close up, including the multiple layers of sparkles and a layer of clear coat to protect the world from all that glitter getting loose. Frank was sitting in a chair out front, playing on his phone when I finally came to. He saw me getting up and brought the boots to me. Sorry about the polish. I didn't know that it was part of the massage until it was too late. You were asleep, so I just asked them to use what was popular. This is what's trending right now. I didn't see it until the toes were done, but it was too late to change it. I didn't know what to say. Last week, we were playing video games together and taking a break for a late-night taco run. Today, Frank is my sugar daddy and treating me like a girl. How many accidents can there be in a row? Couldn't you just pay them, but refuse the polish? That seemed like something reasonable. Frank said he panicked when they asked and didn't think about turning the polish down. What a fun reminder this will be for weeks to come. I hoped this was the kind that would come off with polish remover. Hope is what would get me through this ordeal. I zipped the boot back onto my feet while Frank paid the bill. It seemed like a big tip for something I needed to remove quickly, but he didn't complain about it. In fact, I saw him give the woman a nod as we left. It was starting to feel like there was some kind of conspiracy to get me looking like a girl. We were a little more than halfway to the car when we passed a makeup store. The artists had chairs stationed inside where they could do makeovers and show how to use their products. I saw Frank give a look to one of the girls working inside, and I already knew what was going to happen. I decided that I would take control this time. I left Frank behind as I headed to the door and right for the girl he had looked at. He tried to slow me down, but I was ready for this to be over. The girl with a black apron over her clothes turned just as I made it to her station. "How can I help you?" she asked. "I want to look good, but I haven't really started wearing makeup yet. Can you show me what would look good?" Frank was just getting up to us as I sat in the chair to get started. "I'm Linda, by the way." I reached out to shake her hand. I figured out that Frank had made up having a girlfriend and wanted me to be her for the day. I am not sure where this would end, with photos or being seen with a girl, but I just decided to lean into it and let it happen. That came to a screeching halt when she spoke. "My name is Linda too. How do you know my boyfriend? Holy crap!" There was a Linda, and this was her. Maybe all of the stuff I had gone through really was an accident, and I just imagined some kind of conspiracy. He's my cousin. He's giving me a great day here in the mall. I went from wanting revenge to wanting to patch up any damage I just did to Frank and his dating life. Well, he is a sweetheart, aren't you, babe? She stepped past me to give him a peck on the cheek. Hopefully she wasn't the jealous type, since she would have a lot of pointy brushes and instruments on my face in a few minutes. "Okay, let's get started." She looked my face over closely before doing the worst thing that happened to me all day. She pulled a disposable razor out, ran it under her faucet and ran it over my chin a few times. "You had a few hairs popping up on your chin and lip. You may want to get those waxed off so they don't come back." My first signs of puberty, and they were mowed down before they could get started. Why did I come in here? I can't hang this on Frank. I'm the one that came in and sat down. Linda started on her mission, explaining each move as she coated my face, brushed it, added colour to my eyes, and lining them with a pencil, adding fake lashes, and coating my lips in a bright red that stood out against the black and silver of my outfit. She finally declared herself done and took me to a mirror. Wow. Linda was alive and well now. Jimmy was gone. I didn't see anything of myself, but, to be fair, every bit of my face had some makeup on it. "I can give you some samples of the things I used on your face, okay, Jimmy?" She watched my face to get the reaction when I realised what she said. She knew I was a boy? Did Frank tell her? "What did you call me?" "Frank told me that he was coming to the mall today with his cousin Jimmy. He said you would be shopping early and playing, but he did not say anything about this." "What happened?" She seemed to have time, so I launched into how my day had gone so far. Frank interjected when he felt like he needed to, but mostly allowed me to give my point of view for all this. Linda seemed to listen, laughing at times and making sympathetic faces at others. When I finished, she gave me a hug and said she was sorry. She then made an offer to let me use the employee restroom to change into my own clothes to get things back to normal. Once I had the jeans and t-shirt back on, I slowly put my tennis shoes on, savouring the comfortable fit as I tied them into place. The boots were cleaned up and put in the bag, and the dress was folded as carefully as I could before slipping it into the bag as well. I handed the outfit to Linda and let her know it was comfortable if you enjoyed wearing heels. She thanked me, then asked if I wanted to keep the fake lashes. I declined the offer. She brought out a cleaner and removed all of the cosmetics from my face, although my nails still shined like a diamond. She didn't have any polish remover, so I decided to keep my hands in my pockets. Frank got a big hug and kiss from the real Linda for the present she received, even if it was slightly used now. Linda did have a scrunchie for me to hold my hair back, but the shine and curls were still mine to wear for the day. Frank and I got some time at the arcade before he took me home. I made him stop and get me some polish remover at a drugstore, so I could be ready for school on Monday. I managed to get it off most of my fingers, but left one pinky coloured to be trendy. Frank would have to get involved if someone had too much to say about it. My toes were always covered, so no hurry to remove the colour from those. Frank picked up Linda when she finished work, and she was wearing a familiar black dress and boots. He apologised for her gift being worn by someone else first, but she said that it was a popular look, and she had seen another girl wearing the exact same thing earlier that day. Hopefully she enjoyed it more than the original owner.